Hello, everybody. How you doing? It's Damon. I hope everything is well on your hand. So, for today's video, I decided to do a follow-up to one of my previous videos, which was my top 30 movies from 2000, 2009. This time, it'll be from another decade. It'll be from the decade of 2010 to 2019. Same rule apply. Since it's the top 30, in this case, I'm going to make sure that it'll be simply 30 movies per decade. So that would mean, if you know your divisions, 30 divided by 30 divided by 10 equals 3. So that means 3 movies tops per decades. And if there's a tie, well, the tie will be occupied by 2 movies of the same year. So for every spot, one year can only hold 3 spots. So without further ado, I'll start with my number 30, my 30th number 30 best movie of the 2010s, Wreck-It Ralph, the first one. Now, it's not to say that the second one, Wreck-It Ralph, was bad, but I felt like it paled dramatically compared to the first one. The first one was great, showing basically Wreck-It Ralph was basically the equivalent of Bowser for the video game, in which Fix-It Felix is like basically the equivalent of Mario. And it's somebody who's so accustomed to be the bad guy, but eventually wants to have his flowers. And you can see he's not a bad guy. He's basically equivalent to Nintendo bad guy. He's very simple, but in the end, he's not a catastrophic bad guy. He's just in a bad situation. He's just acting like a bad guy in a certain situation. And I really like that movie. I also like the lots of video game Easter eggs there. For example, Zangief, Kano. Surprisingly, Kano's there. Sounds of Metal Gear Solid. If you love video games, you love that movie. And I thought that's one of the best video game movies ever, despite not really being about video games. So, John C. Reilly nailed the hell of that voice. Sarah Silverman was funny as Princess Penelope. And even in that movie, there was a twist bad guy, which I felt like 2012 was a year for twist bad guys. And that should be a spoiler for it's going to be coming next on the list later on. But yeah, I really like Wreck-It Ralph. That was my number 30. Like, go watch if you haven't. Number 29, 50-50 from 2011. That's an underrated Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie. Like, it's about a movie about somebody who found out he has cancer. It's a comedy there, basically, and is how the person reacts to basically the emotional turmoil they're in. And Seth Rogen plays the best friend of Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that movie. He plays usually a Seth Rogen-ish role, but he plays with more drama. And I really like that movie. It's like, to me, that's one of my favorite movies. Well, it's already on the list, so yeah. But it was basically like this. I'm surprised it was snubbed at the Oscars because it should have been nominated. Honestly, it was that good. Joseph Gordon-Levitt nailed in my opinion, one of his best performances ever in that movie. And Seth Rogen as well. Bryce Dallas Howard was also good in that movie. You hate her character from beginning to end, but yeah, you really felt for the Joseph Gordon's character. So that's where number 29. 28, it's a tie. Like I said, there was a tie for 2014. I have Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and Whiplash. I was close enough to put Birdman on, but I prefer Whiplash. I prefer basically J.K. Simmons playing the awful Terrence Fletcher. And he was such an awful teacher in that movie, an abusive teacher. That basically, his character was so evil, but so well portrayed that not only that he nailed that performance, he went on the Oscars and won Best Supporting Actor. And it's a very good movie, but at the same time, the endings have been ambiguous. You don't know what really, if basically it's a positive message that basically Miles Teller's character, if he succeeds in getting what he wants, or basically the price of his dream being accomplished. If it's a good ending or a bad ending, we don't know. It's ambiguous, but it's a very good movie. Guardians of the Galaxy, that you did see. Uh, Chris Pratt plays his more Chris Prattish role ever. But that's a movie, 2014. I think that was a movie I expected nothing for that movie. When I went to see the movie theater, and lo and behold, I think Triple H expected nothing, expected to be basically a movie that wouldn't cast or do a lot of success. It happened to be one of the biggest successes of the summer 2014. And if a movie makes a lot of noise in the summer, it usually is one of the biggest hits of the year. And that's what Guardians of the Galaxy was. And honestly, it kickstarted one of the best superhero movie trilogies of all time. And again, while I'm basically about Superman, I'm not about Guardians of the Galaxy. They worked there, the humor worked there, and I love the fact that it started and ended with the same person doing the series. It didn't end up with somebody else playing the director of the movie. It was just James Gunn. And Batista stole this trilogy with it basically being Drax the Destroyer. That was humor that actually worked. Take notes, Marvel. It works for some characters to use humor and depends which situations. Zoe Saldana was badass as Gamora. So where was Tyrion? Damn, I forgot her name. Based the one who played Nebula. She also steals the show, especially in later installments. Uh, I love Rocket Raccoon. Bradley Cooper as Raccoon is hilarious. And yeah, the whole team is good. The Groot, I am Groot. I mean, Vin Diesel, that might be his easiest paycheck ever, and that's to say something, knowing some of the movies he did. Yeah, Ronan was so-so, but even then wasn't bad. So I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy. That's number 28. 27 from 2012, American Reunion. Now, if you know me, you know that all the movies, American Pie movies that came out in the movie theater, I love all of them. I just so happen to like American Wedding the least. Because surprisingly, all of the other ones, they're still school, or at least their school roots basically ingrained basically at the heart of the movie. There's no such thing American Wedding. It just felt like a bunch of friends. It felt like a movie that took characters from school, placed in another context, and it still worked, but I felt like it wasn't what it could have been. I mean, some characters like Oz and Ed were in the movie, so it kind of affected this. Whereas this one, they had no excuse. They basically Oz come back, Eder comes back, and Stifler, you could actually see. I felt bad for Stifler in that movie, which I never feel bad in the trilogy, but this one I felt bad. Yeah, he's the asshole, the smug asshole, but at the same time, he's their asshole. He's not exactly a person who doesn't care. It's a person who, quite frankly, is starving for friends, starving for acceptance. Jim had it right in American Wedding. Despite all his rude behavior, he's a guy who's starving for acceptance. And at the same time, just want to have friends who basically feel like he belongs. And yeah, I I love the fact that basically, even for a movie like this, I really felt happy, like I was saying, yes, when he actually finally joined officially the group of the core group of Jim, Kevin, Oz, and Finch. He finally was part of that group because they all had the slow, slow-mo walk. So I was really happy to see that movie. But the whole movie's funny, and I know it's just fifth one. So Hollywood, please hurry up to make a fifth one. So. That's number 27. 26 was an underrated movie from 2016, The Nice Guys. To me, Ryan Gosling, that's the best Ryan Gosling movie I've seen, period. And honestly, it actually is the best Ryan Gosling performance of that year, the same year that I had La La Land. I love this. Russell Crowe, and what I prefer, what basically might be my favorite Russell Crowe character since Maximus from Gladiator, or since John Nash, A Beautiful Mind. That says something. The whole movie is hilarious, and also it felt like Lethal Weapon in the 60s. It's a shame there's not gonna be a sequel because it was my maybe my one of my it was the movie that I felt like when I went out to the movie theater, I felt like why do people don't go see that movie as much as it why don't people go see the movie? Just like I felt for Dread in 2012. It's an awesome movie. Number 25th from 2011, Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. That is Rooney Mara's best performance. That is one of the best David Fincher movie in a while, and that says something. It's not the only David Fincher movie on that list, though. I'm telling you this. I love the whole movie. Uh, Daniel Craig is a great lead, but you could feel he's like the secondary character compared to Lisbeth Salamander. And Lisbeth Salamander. Just want to check. Is it Lisbeth Salamander? Just want to be sure. Oh, sorry, Lisbeth Salander. And honestly, nobody mentions how much of a badass heroine she is, and she is in the whole movie. And I would love to see a movie. Basically, I don't see why there's not a second one. There should have been a second one with Rooney Mara. So yeah, I love that movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Number 24 from 2013, Man of Steel. Despite the fact that supposedly James Gunn's Superman is brighter, lighter, I felt like there's something about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, which also is produced and executive produced by Christopher Nolan, that I felt it nailed better than the 2025 remake. It actually tried to do something different. To me, James Gunn feels better than basically what's another character of same feels the same way of Bryan Singer's Superman Returns, as in we're just trying to continue what worked. At least Zack Snyder trying to redo it. That's how it feels to me. And yeah, it felt like this. So it feels like this one is trying to redo the whole thing from beginning to end. So yeah, and yeah, it can be broody, whatever, but I felt like it really worked. Henry Cavill to me was the best Superman since Christopher Reeves, and it's a shame they never had a proper sequel to Man of Steel. Number 23 from the same year, 2013, Prisoners. To me, that might just be one of the best Denis Villeneuve's movies ever. Forget about Blade Runner 2049. Forget about Insanity. Forget about Enemy. And forget about Dunes. This not might be theirs because Hugh Jackman, it's a very uncomfortable movie, but Hugh Jackman plays a very conflicted father in that movie. And you think Paul Dano is a bad guy. Twist ending, he's not. But you really have some hatred toward the character for a while. Terrence Howard is also a good person, a good character in the movie, and I think Viola Davis is also in the movie. All of these great performances. Number 22, Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. Uh, that's from 2011. So I'm basically getting rid of 2011 there. Uh, yeah, the whole movie here there was very well done, and I mean, it revitalized. Like, usually, like a series, when after its third one, it actually hits its peak. It's not gonna hit as much as hard afterwards. Afterwards, but seeing Tom Cruise's newest stunts, that was something. That said something, and yeah, it sets the tone for the rest of the movie. So I was really, really, really liking this movie. That's number 22. So that was number 22. Number 21, it's Ford versus Ferrari from 2019. Look, to me, that might just be the last great Christian Bale movie there's been. I'm not saying there's not more in him. I believe there's a lot more great performance in him. And he did a great performance. He even did a great performance in Love and Thunder, but the movie wasn't good. It wasn't rewatchable. It's like at first, it's funny, but then you talk about it, you rethink about it. That aged poorly, like after 2 weeks. Ford vs. Ferrari isn't the case. He plays Ken Miles, that movie about a guy who basically has to do the Le Mans uh, race, which basically is a 24 hours race, if I remember right. Matt Damon plays basically the guy who's trying to recruit him to make sure they can beat Ferrari. And it's a thrilling movie from beginning to end, even if it's a biography. You should watch it. The performances are beyond excellent. It's a movie, quite frankly, one of the best movies in 2019 and best movie of the trilogy of the decade. And we don't talk enough about that movie when we should. It's the same director. In fact, the same director, James Mangold, will have other entry in this list. That's a spoiler for this one. So yeah, number 28. It's The Martian with 2015. Yes, it used to be like in late mid 2010s. We were so obsessed in sending people to space to rescue Matt Damon. In fact, not only in space, in the 90s, we used basically went to war to save Matt Damon's. It feels like three movies. It's like the Matt Damon, let's save Matt Damon trilogy. And this one is the actual of the trilogy, quotation mark, is the actual trilogy installment that trilogy where he actually is the one instigating his own escape. And he's playing a botanist stuck on Mars. And I thought it's like Talk about Botany and in Mars, it's not supposed to be exciting, but that movie was very enthralling and seeing what basically the plans were from trying to get him back. Kristen Wiig playing a great performance. Kristen Wiig isn't talked about enough that, yes, she's done great comedies, but she's very good as a dramatic actress too. You have Jeff Daniels, you have Sean Bean making reference to the Lord of the Rings, and to me was like it made me laugh. It's like they took a great performance there, it took a great actor to do so too. I mean, from beginning to end, it's a very, very enthralling movie. So that's for number 20. Number 19. Now we go to something Captain America Civil War from 2016. So yeah, who hasn't seen that movie? Do I need to say more? Iron Man, that movie was basically the de facto bad guy, but it wasn't a bad guy per se. It's just like it was just two different point of view. There's no real bad guys. Even Baron Helmet Zero, he's not exactly a bad guy either. It's like he's a guy who quite frankly suffered great consequence, great tragedy, and want to lash out against the people we perceive as the ones who responsible for that trilogy. And in reality, it's just like everybody is just were casualties of an event that nobody was really the bad guy. It was a very, very psychological, thrilling adventure. The whole movie, yeah, that's humor, but you knew when to scale back from humor and just create an enthralling movie. The Russo brothers know how to do this for superhero movies, so that's why I'm kind of basically excited for Avengers Doomsdays. I wouldn't if not, because they know when to scale back the humor and concentrate on the movie. So awesome performance of Robert Downey Jr. But again, it's Robert Downey Jr. Chris Evans, really great performance. Don Cheadle, I mean, very underrated actor, and we're still talking enough about his performance. Very good there. So yeah, that's number 19. Number 18, Avengers Endgame 2019. Speaking of basically the Russo brothers, they knew how to end it, although their theory about the time traveling doesn't make any type of physics sense. Like even Hot Tub Time Machine made more sense that way. I really liked the movie. I thought it was a great ending. The problem with this movie isn't the movie quality, is that the ending should have been the ending of the whole Marvel universe. You couldn't get any bigger than that. Now they might do with Avengers Doomsday, but then after what? There's always a down after those events. So yeah, and I'm gonna go more about this. Number 17 from 2010. Then social, it's a tie between Social Network and the other guys. Look, it's Will Ferrell. He makes me laugh. He's hilarious. So I had to put him on there. I mean, Mark Hamill in that movie. Like I love Ted, the 2012 movie, but I prefer other guys because there's some action, but it's also a lot of humor that's not often stated. So I love this. Will Ferrell in this, I thought basically Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, a lot of chemistry together. Michael Keaton playing the chief of police as well was kind of funny as well. And yeah, the best scene with The Rock and Samuel Jackson hanging for the bushes. You know what you see, what I meant when I see you know what I mean if you've seen the movie. Hilarious from beginning to end. Social Network. It's Jesse Eisenberg movie to boot. I mean, take away Jesse Eisenberg, and it's not well, it's not a passionate performance, but it's on his shoulder. The whole movie's on his shoulders, and he can make a very. He played Mark Zuckerberg as half a sociopath and half as a determined guy. But in the end, it's like a determined sociopath who sometimes has redeeming qualities and sometimes acts like a complete asshole. But he still made him endearing, or at least you tried to root for him. But even more, you rooted for Eduardo Severin in this, played by Andrew Garfield, which I'm surprised was not nominated for the Oscars for that performance. But it's very good. It's a very good movie. Number 16 from 2018, Mission Impossible Fallout, the best Mission Impossible movie to date. And again, it's really tough for somebody to have the best movie ever on that list, and but it might just be the best Mission Impossible movie ever. And it's 2018. It's the sixth one in the whole series, and it might just be the best one. And I really love that movie. Henry Cavill's a great bad guy. Uh, Tom Cruise is gonna Tom Cruise. So yeah, there's not much more I can say about that movie. Just watch it. Number 15, Wonder Woman 2017. Now that was a great movie. And Gal Gadot was badass. Say what you want about her acting skills. I felt like Wonder Woman, she didn't need more acting abilities to play Wonder Woman. She had it right with Wonder Woman as a singles movie. In other words, as a standalone movie. As long as she's not around other superheroes, I felt it was good. And it worked. And all the movie was dramatic. It felt like slash Superman 1, Superman 2, whereas Wonder Woman 1984 felt like a mix of Superman 3 and Superman 4. This one felt Superman 1 and 2. And while there's a reference to sending an email to Bruce, it felt like a standalone movie, just told Wonder Woman's adventure, the tragedy between Steve Trevor's death and sacrifice, basically finding the God of War and Ares. I really liked that movie. So it was my 15 best movie of the 2010s. Number 14, Inside Out from 2015. What if the all emotions in one person basically trying to interact with each other? That's what you get when Inside Out. And whether it's joy, whether it's anger, whether it's fear, sadness, I love this. And I thought that's a reminder of what Pixar can do. They took basically they went something to, they went to the atomic level of a concept with Pixar and made it damn good. Not just good, but damn good. So Amy Poehler's performance as Joy was excellent. So was Lewis Black as Anger, Bill Hader as Fear. I really liked that movie. So yeah, that's for number 14. Number 13, Captain America, Winter Soldier, 2014. Very good movie. And I really love how it was done as a spy movie. I really like how it was done. And include the late great Robert Redford. Again, a twist as Alexander Pierce, who happened to be the big bad of that movie. Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier is like was kind of evident after you saw basically the trailers, but it's like the way they basically build up and create basically character uh, who started the movie kind of like Kane to Captain America's Undertaker. Kind of felt like that way at first, but eventually became its own. It's a character that was basically a secondary character in a movie of Captain America, and not being basically one of the pillars of what the current Marvel big team is. So that says something. And introduced Falcon, which I really like. I really love basically Anthony Mackie as Falcon slash Captain America. I really think he's a very good actor. It's just I'd rather just be the Falcon. It could be the American Falcon instead, you know? Why? Because it's your character. I like somebody having character, owning the crap out of their own characters rather than take somebody else's. That's it. That's why. For example, if there was a spin-off of James Bond, you could have 008 being the same universe as James Bond, but not being James Bond, but in that movie you can have reference to James Bond. Like, why can't people do that? Anyway, I really like Captain America, Winter Soldier, because they knew when to basically play it for spy. Yeah, it's a bit of funniness, but overall, a very good movie. That's number 13. Number 12 from Denis Villeneuve, 2016, Arrival. That might just be my favorite Denis Villeneuve movie. Amy Adams in her best performance ever. It's like very heartbreaking. It's an heartbreaking twist at the end. That's how it plays out. And yeah, there's a very good chemistry between Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner. And I really like that movie. This whole movie, I think people talk so much about Dune from Denis Villeneuve. They should talk more about Arrival. It's a very good movie, a very well-crafted movie from beginning to end, with a lot of suspense in between. Number 11, Avengers Infinity War from 2018. Now we're getting close to the top 10. Avengers Infinity War. Thanos is the bad guy. There's a reason I don't mention more in the Endgame review that I said. Uh, I prefer Thanos in this one. This one, he felt unstoppable, he felt dominant, and the Thanos of Infinity War is one of my favorite bad guy of a movie ever. Whereas I would not put the Thanos of Endgame in that list. I really love that Thanos, and I want uh yeah to notify that basically that Thanos was not just badass, but he felt like a very ordered, basically a very uh a schemer that actually knew what he wanted to do, but at the same time, it's a bad guy who's convinced he's doing right by the world. So it felt like a very good, compelling character. Like he's a bad guy in the movie. He knows he's doing bad things, but he doesn't want to do them. He just feels like the whole world would be better off without it. So I thought it was very passionate. And at the end, he did what you rarely see in superhero movies, bar The Dark Knight, the bad guy actually wins. Sure, in Dark Knight, sure, Joker get arrested or put in a asylum, but every main character, every heroes basically end up losing as well. They basically end up in a worse position in the beginning. I mean, Dark Batman gets shot and is chased by the police after they think he killed Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent dies. Gordon gets either divorced or basically doesn't see his family no more. Lucius Fox has some of his laboratory destroyed. Sure, the device they didn't want to was destroyed, but still, Alfred basically knows that Bruce is in distress. If anything, everybody kind of loses. In a way, Joker gets the moral victory at the end. Gets the mental victory, sorry. It's just that they might have the the tools now to protect Gotham from with the Dent Act, but they still kind of lose. Similarly in this one's definitely Thanos wins. Half of the universe disappears, so it means half of the Marvel universe disappears and was sold the next year. I thought it was a very brilliant move from Marvel, but to me that was a peak Marvel. That's number 10. 11, sorry. Number 10, top 10. Logan from 2017. What a damn good movie. If you have to end Wolverine's character's arc, that was how you did it. And what a way it went out. And Patrick Stewart should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I felt like it was gypped at the Oscar, the fact that they only were nominated for Best Original Screenplay. And that's it. Daphne Keane as X-23 was very good. I mean, Donald Blank, I think Donald Blake was the bad guy, along with X-24. It was a great way to send out Wolverine. And it was R-rated. I loved the movie from beginning to end. And I know it was 2 hours, 20 minutes or 2 hours, 30 minutes, but it never felt the time. It never felt lengthy. That's number 10. Number 9 from 2015, Spotlight. This movie. Take away the Batman, Batman Returns, and the Beetlejuice. This might be my favorite Michael Keaton movie. And again, he's playing a character that starts with technically with a B. His name is Robbie in the movie, but Robbie can be Bobby. So basically, his character name is will be. It feels like every time he plays a character whose first name is B in a way, or Regan Thompson, aka Birdman, it happens to be a very good movie. And it was this. It was very passionate about basically a newspaper team basically debating which controversial issue they're going to tackle in the next issue, and all the troubles that could go through, all the journalistic troubles that had to go through, and if they were going to compromise their journalistic integrity to protect the targets. And I was very passionate by the movie. Rachel McAdams, our best performance. Mark Ruffalo was actually good in that movie. Uh, and Michael Keaton, what can I say about him? He's excellent. He deserves way more praise than he's given. And Liev Schreiber in this case was damn good. Okay, that's number 9. Number 8, X-Men Days of the Future Past of 2014. Damn good movie. Wolverine there was excellent, and I think that might just be my favorite X-Men movie ever. It incorporated the new X-Men with the X-Men First Class, and I felt a little bit of the cartoon of X-Men 97. So yeah, I really love that movie. But since there's nothing else to say about this, I'll go on to number 7. Number 7, it's a tie of 2018. You got Hereditary and Incredibles 2. I like Incredibles 2, not as much Incredible ones, but I really like it. Really fun. It felt like it for a while. I got Fantastic Four better than Fantastic Four did. And Hereditary, Toni Collette's peak performance ever. It's the only movie I ever watched in a movie theater and I was scared after I watched that movie. Like, remember going to the gym afterwards for a workout, and I felt scared going to the gym afterwards. You know, I felt scared. Like, I just had the image of that movie. It's like, ugh. Very good movie. It's the best Ari Aster movie to date yet. And I love Toni Collette's performance in that movie. Alex Wolff's performance was very good, as well as Gabrielle Burns. Now we're going to this. Number 6, Wolf of Wall Street 2013. This is the best Leonardo DiCaprio movie, in my opinion, I've seen. And he should have won for that movie. Sorry, Matthew McConaughey. Great performance in Dallas Buyers Club, but this should have been Wolf of Wall Street winning. Excellent movie. Leonardo DiCaprio makes a cheating, lying, scheming scumbag seems endearing. And that said a lot. It basically was their adventure, especially the one with Quaaludes, were hilarious. But you never felt like for a moment that he was the good guy. You felt like an asshole from beginning to end. And it was very good. It was also the introduction to Margot Robbie. What introduction it was for that movie. Awesome. I really love that movie. It might just be my favorite Martin Scorsese movie that's not named Departed or Goodfellas. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go to that light. That's number six. Number five, despite basically an awful sequel in 2024, Joker in 2019. Awesome movie. Joaquin Phoenix's best performance is Gladiator. Gladiator, sorry. I love the movie, but it's a one performance movie. Take away Joaquin Phoenix, and you got pretty much nothing. Every other character was like, so. But this character, as Arthur Fleck, you fell for him, and in order he felt really bad, you felt bad for his eventual breakdown. Because basically that's was the only way it could go for him. So that's for number four. Number five. Number four is gonna be Toy Story 3 from 2010. What a way to go off with Toy Story. Oh wait, it's not, but still, the way it was to me the best Toy Story ever, Toy Story movie ever. It might actually be my favorite Pixar movie ever. That's not named Up. It was damn good, and yeah, it was damn good. Lotso was a great bad guy. That's what I would say for that. Number three, from 2017, The Disaster's Artist. I love talking about The Room and it made me laugh seeing that movie. I read basically Disaster's Artist, the book. I got it at home. I will read it many, many times. And it's so hilarious. And seeing the movie theater, see that movie, it's the only biographical movie that I've seen that where people laughed so often. That movie it was so good. Seeing Tommy Wiseau, seeing basically his funniness, his quirks, and at the same time his pathological ways just to get his movie or his vision of the room on screen. And see in the end that people laughed, you felt heartbroken for him, but at the same time you laugh and basically try to take it back and say, hey, it was meant to be a comedy from get-go. You laugh at this. That's number three. Number two, Inception from Christopher Nolan, 2010. Awesome movie from beginning to end. And I felt like like I was saying here, number two, it will be the movie from 2012, 2010, sorry. It's Inception. This, to me, I mean, I was struggling putting basically another Leonardo DiCaprio movie to Shutter Island, that movie, in that spot, but I can't. I love Inception too much to ignore it. It's a movie that can basically be an action movie. If you want to see it in a linear, simplistic way, you could do this. You can also see it in a very complex way. And I felt like there's many interpretation that could be good about that movie. Now, is the movie about a stellar performance? Everybody has a good performance. It's not a one performance movie. It's a plethora of good performance. Leonardo DiCaprio as Dom Cobb, as the leader of the team. That's very good in that movie. As well as Elliot Page playing Ariane, very good. We also add Tom Hardy as Ames. It's basically how you got discovered from another Christopher Nolan movie. Yeah, Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Archer. Very to me was the most fascinating character in the movie. And you had basically Marion Cotillard as Mal, and also you have Cillian Murphy as Robert Fisher. So I really love the whole cast. The whole movie was this. Oh, you had also Ken Watanabe as Saito. All things about basically dream architect gets caught in the opening ice and basically is coerced into trying to do basically to do dream extraction onto a competitor's business in order to in order for Saito to benefit and basically have a monopoly in terms of business, and for Leo was supposed to be he'd be able to go back to the United States and see his family again. The whole movie is very good, and it's 2 hours 20 minutes, and it's 2 hours 20 minutes that fly by really fast in this movie. Always something going on. And that would have been, if it wasn't for number one, it would have been my best movie of 2010s. What's my best movie 2010s? Of course, it has to be. Number one is The Dark Knight Rises, 2012. Again, a Christopher Nolan movie. And yeah, I mean, Christopher Nolan really knows how to have at least two, three great movies per decade, it seems like now. And yeah, it was awesome from beginning to end. Uh, sure, do I believe Dark Knight was better? Dark Knight was better. Just like I believe Empire Strikes Back was better. There's always, in any trilogy, there's always one peak. and one valley. As long as a peak in a roller coaster ride, there's no roller coaster ride here. There's no roller coaster ride downwards like the third one, the fourth one, the first one sucked. All of the entries in that trilogy are excellent, excellent to downright outstanding. In this case, it's not outstanding, Dark Knight Rises, and it's above excellent. To me, it's between that sweet spot between excellent and outstanding. Be like a 9.5 out of 10. Yes, there's some things that looking back, they don't work as much. Like Miranda Tate, aka Talia al Ghul's death scene was still doesn't work. Uh, there was something else I wasn't that much of a fan of. I don't remember which. But overall, the whole story works. It's like the No Man's Land's comic book, and people can say that Christopher Nolan is not like James Gunn. James Gunn applied it to the letter of the comic books. Nolan inspires himself from past stories to create his own. He inspired himself from No Man's Land, but he doesn't know he had no plan to just recreate that. He inspired himself from No Man's Land and A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens to that movie. I've heard people, or even Facebook threads, where people asking what would have happened if Heath Ledger, the late great Heath Ledger, R.I.P., would still be here. Would he be placating the third one? Maybe. I still meant that if he, even if he was in there, it would be a cameo, the equivalent of basically a 10 minutes role. I think the main bad guy was the plan, and was always the plan was Bane, because he had to be tested. Batman had to be tested physically. He picks his villains based. Chris Nolan picks the villain based on team. The team in the first one was Fierce, who was Scarecrow, and you also Abrazago. Second one was Escalation, was Joker, and by proxy, yet the Harvey Dent Two-Face. And the last one was Pain, and it goes back to the beginning, was going back to League of Shadows, which was Bane and Talia al Ghul. So I believe, honestly, all of these great villains, great interpretations, like Tom Hardy as Bane was damn good. John Blake, sure, there's a troll, basically was basically a psychic the whole movie, but I felt like he held his own and was very relatable. Christian Bale is always great as Batman. Anna Way was the second best Catwoman in my opinion, looking back. Zoe Kravitz, it's a third one, is number three on that list, but then there's some things about the character that I really didn't like, which I hope they improve in Batman Part 2, if she's in it. Uh, what else? Cillian Murphy's always this. Michael Caine. I'm sorry, but that's everybody's talking about. Oh, there's everybody's talking about Batman roles. Yeah. So it was the whole movie. I really like Christian Bale as Batman. Was I don't care what people think in terms of what his bad voice. I felt like the bad voice was done before, and Michael Keaton did the bad voice. Uh, and nobody complained about this. Now, people say, well, he's groveling at times. I'm saying, okay, cool, but if you, well, the novelization of Dark Knight Rises, maybe that could have been said anyway. That could have been said in the movie. In novelization, the reason is that the suit modifies his voice. So that could have basically been this, like it was done in Ben Affleck's Batman. So could have been said this, but anyway, I had no problem unless Batman would have a speech like of 2 minutes, in which case I would have a problem with it. But as long as you keep it short, like most scenes where he says a sentence and ended there, I loved it. So yeah, loved the ending. To me, was the best movie ending of 2012 that year, and yeah, so yeah. That would be this. So I would love to see a Dark Knight 4, but I really doubt it'll happen. But anyway, that's a movie I felt like could have had B&D. So anyway, those are my lists for my top 30 best movies of the 2010s, 2019. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Catch you guys later.